All right, we are back for episode 15 of the remote viewing series. If you're new here, my name is Danae. I was born psychically blown open. I am a multifaceted psychic. I specialize in a lot of different things. If you're interested in learning more about me, you can go to my website, link in the bio, and you can read more about me. All right, guys, so to leave off, I know I kind of left you with a bit of an emotional message at the end. I want to say that I'm really grateful for my career. I'm really grateful for the beings I'm connected to, for how connected I am to, my higher self, my intuition, other versions of me. This is a collaborative event, okay? So also, if you're new here, I get my information in a lot of different ways. I have been connected to, some people say interdimensionals, extraterrestrials, my entire life. So, it's even nature. That's why I encourage you guys to connect with nature and really build that relationship, because nature knows a lot. And it sounds really cheesy talking to the trees, listening to the plants, like all this stuff. Nature knows everything. Energy, everything is energy, you guys. Anything is readable. So all these people who are really dark and debased have a really rude awakening coming because everything is readable. If you're good at reading energy, you can read all of this. You do not need, someone to physically walk you into these places or to know someone who knows someone or whatever. You can read the energy. It's there. And so I'm going to do my best to not get emotional in some of these topics. Some of them just get me. I really cannot help it. Some of them just really, really get me, but I'm going to do my best with this. Okay. So let's continue. So in some of these kids that I did see underground or, on ships, wherever they are, they also will not be able to be saved. Like some of the people who were doing the abuse with them, it's not just the sexual abuse, you guys. There's also like people who get off and love the violence towards children in life, the murdering, torturing, all these demonic things you see in movies. These things are real. They're real. Like that, what was that movie Saw years ago? And I'm sure there's been plenty. I don't watch these movies because to me, I'm like, who the fuck creates these stories? Like you have to be some sort of like debased motherfucker to create these things and put it out as entertainment. I cannot get with it. It doesn't vibe with me. I can't justify it. No offense if you guys are into that. I cannot accept that as entertainment. Also because of so much of what I've seen through work, and they tell us a lot in movies. Again, what you think is entertainment oftentimes is not. Even rape scenes, murder scenes. You could literally be watching someone literally being raped in real time, being killed, hunted in real time. This is not entertainment, you guys. This is, again, I'm not lumping everything and saying everything is the same, but there's a good chunk of this stuff that is real live entertainment. It's really bad. Okay? Moving on. So some of these debased people I saw overdosed and died. Again, these people are going to be hunted, rightfully so. My God, if there's anyone out there that are watch my videos who hunt these people, I'm happy to work with you and show you where these hubs are. Like, fucking call me for real. I'm a hot dose of, yeah, I'm just gonna leave that there. Yeah, hot dose of, fuck around and find out. I do not play with this stuff. So, let's move to the 3-eye atlas. Let's kind of break this up a little bit. I'm going to do my best to kind of break up the dense stuff, the really heavy stuff. So this 3-eye atlas, it is a ship. It is two things I want to talk about with you guys. Comets and asteroids, they are also, when you see them in ancient times, it was also a good indication that sickness, illness, or like a plague was coming. And if you look back as well in history, even before 2020, the whole COVID thing, there was a comet that was, I believe it was in December 2019. And so kind of start to look at these patterns. Anytime you see an asteroid or a comet, I want you to question. I want you to like go into the brain in your belly and see what's coming, okay? But the 3i Atlas, it is not a comet, it is not an asteroid, it is an extraterrestrial ship. And the reason why they can't get these clear pictures of it, as well as these gases or this thing that is kind of camouflaging the outside, is actually a cloaking device. And I did see beings on that, and some beings looked human, but they were not human. So I thought that was interesting. You guys, there was also a there was also a signal that was picked up, I believe it was in the 70s. Don't quote me exactly on the date. You can look this up. That scientists received from space. And they are finding now that the Atlas, where that signal came from was where Atlas was. The 3i Atlas. And I want to segue a little bit more into this because the Anunnaki and old gods go by numbers, okay? And so I want you to write this down because you're going to see this a lot. We just saw this in, I saw all these articles in the last 48 hours with 40 in it. 40 days of the government shutdown, 40 airports being affected. 40 is Enki's number. Enki was the one who did the genetic engineering, who started that, the wanting to see if Eve could be more than a clone, had sexual intercourse with Eve. It was not something that looked pleasurable. It looked violent to me, forced, got her pregnant. So he essentially, in a way, considers himself the father of humanity. There was another one. There was some others who also helped with the splicing of the reptilian DNA into the human DNA. But I definitely, it's interesting because the 3i Atlas, that signal that they picked up, you guys, the seconds, I forget the minute to the seconds, but it equaled Anu's number, which is 60. And Anu, okay, so it's Anu, right? First off, the Anunnaki came here to mine gold. Okay. And the reason why they created the Lulus, the slave race, the clones, which it wasn't just a one-time, perfect creation. The clones were, they took some perfecting. Some were deformed. Some, just couldn't live. They couldn't work. There was a perfection that they had. So there was different batches made until you got like the Adam, the Eve, and before Eve, it was Lilith. And so this is all cloning. All right. And initially all the clones looked the same. They couldn't reproduce. And so that was the original sin, right? The reproduction. And then now that mixing. And so I want to say, if you are some of these people who still have that reptilian bloodline, you have access to literal gold. These are really powerful beings. Call them what you will. Whatever they've done, which is a fucking mess, what they've created. But you have access to all of that. When I say you are rich in genetics, why don't you try activating some of that? That's what they're so terrified about. Because that is like about 20 aces up your sleeve. Really powerful. Again, that's also why there's these genetic companies looking for these markers in the DNA and seeing who's carrying, what genes, what codes, who's going to be popping off. There's layers to this because this stuff is being activated. So that's also why they try to capture and keep your attention so you can turn away from all the activations going on inside. That's also why. Okay, so the 3i Atlas is, and then 3i, you guys, 3 and I. I is 9, so I geek out on numbers and numerology. I love decoding things. That 12 is also 3 plus 9 is 12. If you're new to numerology, get an easy book. It's really amazing. You figure a lot out because everything has to have a sequence, a code to exist in the matrix in reality. It's really fascinating when you start to get into all of this stuff. So 12 is always an Anunnaki number. Always. Okay. And we can dissect this in many different ways. There's 12 calendar months of the year. Yes, there used to be, time used to be different, blah, 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 months, more months. But 12 months of the year, the 12 hours a day, we used to have 12 strands of DNA. What was it? There was 12 people at the Last Supper. There's 12 in so many things. 12 is a code, the Council of 12. So Anu essentially was like King Anu. Okay, that's also symbolic for heaven. That's what heaven is. You go to Anu's territory. All right. I've always said heaven and hell, these are religious manipulations. There are no such thing. Lucifer, the devil, is also Enki. So I know this is, I'm trying not to lose you here, but okay. So Anu, King Anu, and then his sons, Enki and Enlil. All right. So Anu's 60. His wife, Antu, is 55. Enlil is 50. Enki is 40. And I'm giving you these because these people are all, these beings are still relevant. They're still here. They're still interacting with humanity. And I'm going to tell you, give you some heads up on where to find them. So you have Enki's 40. You have 30 who's Sin. Sin also owns the moon. Sin, and we have Sin City, right? And then sinning in the Bible. Everything is so coded, you guys. And they're so deeply embedded into our language. Even your names. Look at your names and even rearranging letters. You'll be able to find which Anunnaki you are connected to. Very interesting. 10 was, I may say this wrong, Adad. ADAD, I may say this wrong, but it was also Jehovah, Yahweh. So this was Enlil's son. And Yahweh, very, very, very violent being. Oh my gosh. I'm going to I deep dived on all this and it's very, very violent. So anyways, these beings go by numbers. Okay. And what did we also have in the news recently? Trump said they're rebuilding this ballroom and it's going to fit 999 people. Do you know what 999 means? It means you're real close to the gods. Do you know old gods used to use the number 1,000? You could only use that number if you were an old god. Somebody is not who he's claiming to be. So I want to dive deeper in this with you so that you can start to see how things start to connect. I'm just going to seed you with a few things so you can see how it gets really interesting. Okay, so, and we have this idea of angel numbers. Old gods go by numbers. So everything is coded. And I want to use Elon Musk as an example. All right. So Elon, the L's, EL, that is very Anunnaki. Think of Enlil and Enki. Okay. You're going to have to probably go back and listen to this, but write this stuff down and what do we have coming up? Was it Super Bowl 60? I know these things sound really stupid, but they're coded. And once you know enough, you're just gonna be like, bah, 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 bah. You won't even pay attention to the small stuff anymore, you guys, because it's kind of so fascinating to figure this out. So let's talk about Elon Musk, who is super Anunnaki, you guys. And going back to 12. 12 is always an Anunnaki number, okay? So the Anunnaki are from Nibiru. Nibiru is also considered planet X. All right, I want you to remember this. X, planet X. All right, their planet is volcanic. It is also the 12th planet. Going back to that number 12, it's the 12th planet. Okay, so Elon, didn't he change Twitter to X? He also has Space X. Wants to go to Mars, all this kind of stuff. He also named one of his child's names it was like AE or something like that. It was AE, which if you flip that, if it's Ea is also alien. Ea is also Earth. Ea is also Enki. Just putting that out there. And one of his childs was XAE. XII, 12. XAE, XII, Ea 12. Are you fucking kidding me? So I have some questions for you, Elon. Like, not at all who he says he is. And then going back to Enki 40, and what did we see in, biblical times? Jesus went into the desert for 40 days and he met Lucifer, or whatever however biblically it exactly went. But for 40 days and 40 nights, whatever, 40 is Enki. Lucifer is Enki. Jesus was the character of Marduk, who was also part of the Enlil line. All right, so there is kind of a comedy amongst extraterrestrials of, wow, we've really gotten a lot out of the Jesus character. Truly. I know this is going to spin some of you, but I don't lie. I will never sugarcoat anything for you. We have plenty of people out there, even in this industry, who are going to lie, cheat, and steal and confuse. I'm not going to do that for you. So, people either love or hate me, and I'm okay with that because I stand strongly in my truth, and I do not fuck around with that because we have been so stuck and misled. I'm not here to enable your destructive programming. I'm like a shake and wake with a lot of heart, but time is of the essence now. We have got to get going. Okay, so 12, always an Anunnaki number. 60, Anu. 55, Antu, his wife. 50 is Enlil. 40 is Enki. 30 is Sin. 20 is Shamash. I hope I'm saying that right. And 10 is Adad. Focus on these right now. Just focus on these ones. So, and there's many other, but just focus on these. Okay. So, and it's interesting too, because when you go to the planet of the crossing, you guys, the planet of the crossing, Nibiru. Okay. What is this symbol for religion, for, Christianity, for Catholics, and whoever else? I don't know every other religion, but it's a cross. It's a cross. A murdered, sacrificed man on a cross. And what did these old gods do? It was a requirement for a sacrifice. The barbecue is what they used to essentially call it. They cooked people, like children, infants, babies, like they ate them. And we still have this going on today with people giving up their children. Okay, are you starting to see the pattern here? We are not dealing with humans. Yes, there's people being run by demons. There's clones. There's half human, half AI. There's so much. But primarily, our biggest issue, you guys, is the humans, versus the Anus, the Anunnaki. Yes, there's other beings. Yes. I'm specializing in the Anunnaki. If there's other people out there gravitating to other beings, great. My specialty is the Anunnaki. So don't come at me with the, like troll typing in the comments. My specialty is the Anunnaki. And the Archons, you guys, I get a lot of these. The Archons, they were left here by the Anunnaki to observe humans, to observe societies, the world. There's so much different disinformation, misinformation in this industry. Please be careful who you get your information from. People send me stuff all the time and I'm like, no wonder why everyone's just like being led right the fuck off a cliff. It's crazy. I'm probably going to cuss a little bit more today because I'm just, so very interesting stuff. Okay, I'm probably going to have to make another one here. All right, I'm going to make another one.